All right, man. Welcome to today's episode. So, this one's a pretty personal thing that happened to me a few days ago that I wanted to share. And so, the title of this, even when I wrote it, I felt kind of strange writing it. But why being a husband and father isn't everything. So, like even saying it, it sounds weird, but because for so long I thought that was my main value as a person, right? As a man, is how good a job I was doing as a husband and father. And I'm not saying that it's not important to do that and to do your best in that, but hopefully it'll make more sense as we go here. So, as I probably said on here before, I was a missionary for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and there we have someone called the mission president who's kind of in charge of what you do. This is a guy I look up to a lot, President Tolbo, outstanding man, and he gave us this lesson that really helped me organize um, my life for many years. He taught us these priorities. And what those were, he kind of listed them in order. He said, first is God, after that is your wife, then your kids, then your church responsibilities, and then your work. And I think maybe he put yourself at the end of that too in the lesson, but whether he did or not, I kind of like left that part out for the most part. So this message it helped me organize my life for a lot of years, putting God first. To me that meant, living with integrity and, having that good relationship with God. So studying scripture, saying my prayers, doing that first thing in the morning. And I still do that and it's super powerful. And then my wife, making sure she was taken care of, and then my kids, and then my church work, and then my other work. So super helpful, helped me be very productive. It did and does still help me, you know, keep things in proper perspective. Now, the problem with this list, there are a few issues. So, for one thing, one is that I'm not on that list at all, or maybe I'm like last on that list. Also, friends, other family, they weren't really on that list. And so, since that was kind of my map, I, you know, didn't really prioritize myself much. I didn't really prioritize friend and family time that much. Okay. But I felt like I was doing what was right. Okay. My value in this case, it was mainly tied up in how well I was serving other people. Now, I'm not saying it's not important and good to serve other people. Like that's my goal for the year actually, is to direct myself more to service. But what I'm saying is how I felt my value as a person was, as a human being, was really tied up in, okay, am I doing a good job serving my wife? Am I doing a good job serving my kids? Am I doing a good job with my church work and with my other work? Okay, and that was where my value was. Okay? So, I got married to someone who has been through terrible, terrible things in her life. She's very vocal about this. She was sex trafficked by her family for many years, um, and so there's a lot of things that come with that. Some emotional difficulties, sexual difficulties, a lot of things, and so it was pretty easy to find lots of opportunities to put her first, to put my purpose and my value in how good a job I was doing, supporting her and valuing her. But kind of along the line somewhere, I started to believe that my main value as a person had to do with how well I was serving and taking care of her and the kids as well, but especially her. That was sort of my main role in life, that's really all that God really cared if I was doing or not, and that if I wasn't doing a good job of that, well, God didn't actually care. And who he really cared about was her, and I was just kind of there as a sort of support person. So again, if that's my main purpose and that's my main value, right? Okay, here's someone who's been through a lot of hard things. Now, Mike, you go in there and, help her. And if you don't do a good job of that, you know, I'll take you out and put somebody else in. Okay. Basically, in other words, the way I saw myself and, the way that God saw me and my purpose was just like, just go help Elizabeth, you know, that's it. Your value is just in reference to your wife. Okay. So this led to resentment on my part also. Like, it's like, okay, yeah, let me do a good job. Let me make sure I'm taking care of her. When I talk about mosquito and dictator and all that, right? Like, if I'm trying to get my value from how well I serve her, a lot of that has to do with how much feedback I'm getting from her. If I'm doing a good job of that, am I taking care of her? I want to hear that from her a lot so that I can feel like what I'm doing is valuable. Okay. But, even recently, I've been struggling with that idea of feeling like, I'm just kind of a background character. She's the main role, I'm the supporting actor, and, if I was taken out of the story, it wouldn't even matter really, is how I was feeling. So, just a few days ago, I was walking and kind of thinking about these things and, struggling with these thoughts and ideas. Um, my wife and I were having some conflicts right now that we'll work through, but we're kind of in the middle of it right now, which made this kind of extra difficult. And so I went out and I stopped the car and I got out and was walking around and had an interesting sort of vision come on me. I was praying at the time, um, and I actually had a vision of like walking away. Like, my wife and kids and I were all together, and I just, like, turned around and walked away in my mind, right? And what I pictured was, you know, God sending another guy, another husband that would do a better job than me, or, a father that would do a better job to me, and they would take care of them, right? He would take care of them, or, God would send angels or whatever to take care of my family, and that I would just kinda walk away alone, and basically be forgotten, is what I was envisioning. And yeah, that God wouldn't really send anyone to take care of me, but he definitely would to take care of them. So, but as I was doing that and thinking and praying about it, a new vision came on me, that, I still decided, again, just in my mind, I decided to, turn and walk away from my family. That God, yeah, he would go send someone to take care of my family, but he'd also send someone and even several people to take care of me as well, to walk with me, to be with me, to comfort me. You know? So it was just so powerful to see that in my mind, that even if I did something that is not good at all, right? To abandon your family, like so before having this vision, I would have said to that, like, if someone does that, they're the worst person on earth, and I hate them, God hates them, everybody hates them, right? Like someone that decides to walk away from their family. But what I saw in this vision is like, even if I did decide to do that, something that I think we can all agree is not a good thing to do, to walk away from your family. Even if I decided to do that, God would still care. Like God would still send someone to walk with me and be with me and, help me and support me and teach me and probably, try to help me see, hey, maybe this wasn't the best move. Maybe there's, you know, more joy over here, with being a good husband and father. But just seeing it so differently that it's not like, okay, you walk away, you're done, you're written off, and nobody cares anymore. It's like, no, you made a bad choice, sure, but I still care. God saying to me, I still care, and I'm still going to send people and help. I'm still going to help you. Like, even if you make a bad choice, I'm still going to be with you and help you. That was just so, so powerful for me. And so it made me think differently about the parable of the prodigal son, right? Where I always just saw it as the son kind of walking away on his own, and then life knocks some sense into him, and he decides to come back. But while he was gone, he was just all alone, all by himself, and that's the lesson. Like, don't walk away because you're going to be by yourself, and God doesn't care anymore until you come back. That's kind of the lesson that I took away from the prodigal son. But a few days ago, I had a new vision about that, of the son kind of walking out of his house, and then the father, or God, actually sending like angels or servants and saying, hey, there goes my son, kind of keep out of sight, but I want you to, you know make sure he's okay. All right, make sure he's, you know not getting into too much trouble, keep him safe. Okay. In the story too, I was just read through it where, a famine comes, right? And so to me, that's God still remembering this prodigal son, right? It's saying, hey, you know, I'm here, and this is just a reminder that this life course isn't going to make you very happy. But it's not that he forgot him, right? It's just God saying, hey, like there he is, like I care about him. Even the parable of the lost sheep teaches this, right? That God is going to leave the 90 and 9 and go after that one that just kind of left, left on his own. God will come after him. Okay. If I choose to leave, God will come after me. If you choose to leave, God will come after you. If you made a decision that's really awful, God's still there and he still cares and he's going to come after you. Okay. He wants you to find joy and find happiness. And, um, even when you choose make decisions that don't bring you that and bring you far away from that, God still is there. He still cares and he still will walk with you and be with you. So it's very powerful, for me, very powerful lesson. So God, he cares very deeply about your wife and your kids, but he also cares very deeply about you. Okay. He really does. He doesn't give up on any of us. And he cares and he sends helpers to all of us, no matter what our decisions are. So my takeaways from this experience, I want to be a good husband and father. Like I find a lot of joy in those roles. Really, that's the most joy I felt. Right, is coming in here, doing the best I can as a husband, doing the best I can as a father. I feel really good about doing those things. But what I found that day, again, this just a few days ago, was even if I chose to totally abandon my family, again, something that if someone did that, I would have said, "You're the worst person on earth," right? God, he'd still care about me and he'd still send servants and angels to comfort me, that I have value even outside of that role as husband and father. It just, to me, it's so comforting. And it removes a lot of that pressure that I put on myself a lot, right? And it actually takes off a, a good amount of that neediness, right? Of needing to get that feedback from my wife. Oh yeah, you're doing such a good job. Or from my kids. Oh yeah, yeah, thanks dad. You're so awesome. All of that. Because if you don't realize you have value even outside of that, even when they say it, it won't be enough, right? It'll feel good for a little while, but then you're going to go after it again. That's what I call being the mosquito is you always want that validation because you feel like if you don't have it, you're not enough, that nobody does care, that you're not valuable. And so realizing, hey, God cares about me even if I'm an awful father, even if I'm an awful husband, okay? Even if I go have an affair, right? God will still be with me and care about me. I don't want to do any of those things. But knowing that even if I did, God would care, in a strange way, gives me more motivation to do a good job as a husband and father, right? Takes off that pressure, right? Oh, you better measure up, Mike. You better be a great husband and father, or else, I don't care anymore. Like God saying that to me, then you're out, right? Measure up or you're out. Okay, that's not how God sees this. God sees it as, hey, here's a great way to live. And if you choose not to do that, you know, I'm going to still be watching over you. I'm going to send some reminders to you that, hey, like there's a better way you can live your life. So that's the way I'm seeing it now. And it's helped me feel a lot, softer, a lot more loving towards my wife and my kids, my clients, and other people. Like I work with the clients who've made really bad decisions, who have had affairs, you know, um, who have not done a great job as husbands and fathers. And it just gives me so much more compassion for them versus judgment, saying, "Oh, I would have never done that," right? Um, and just saying, "Look, sure, you made a mistake, but I still care. God still cares. Like you're still valuable." But yeah, I always used to say that anyway. But this experience helped me understand it for myself more, which then just makes me a lot more able to really and truly say that to these other guys, right? And women too, that I know for sure and I sense and I feel that like you still have value no matter what you did. Okay. Another big lesson, right? That I don't have to earn that value, that it's already there. Like God still cares. Like I'm his son. We tell that to our kids all the time. And one of our sons recently did something that that was, kind of not great, kind of dishonest. Um, and just seeing myself, and my wife being able to, yeah, he did something that was, not great. It was dishonest, but we don't care about him less. In fact, we came in even more to kind of support him, help him understand, yeah, like that wasn't a great decision. That's not going to make you very happy, but we're still here and we care about you deeply, even when you make these mistakes. And actually, even more, we kind of pay more attention so we can help bring you back to a path that's going to be, lead to a better spot. So it's just a great experience. I don't have to earn that value, right? God cares about me no matter what. And on top of that, right, he's given me gifts and abilities. And, if I use those for good, I'm just going to have a better life. But even if I don't, God still is there. He still cares. He's still with me. So listen, no matter what you've done, God, he is with you, or no matter what you've neglected to do. Okay. If you feel like, I'm just not measuring up, you know, a lot of it's probably this, that you're trying to earn that value instead of realizing, yeah, I have it. Even if I don't do a great job as a husband and father, right? I'm still valuable, but I want to use those talents and gifts. I want to do a good job in this role because I feel better doing it. Like that, I talked about this last week too, but that's that like solar energy, like that energy that's not going to get depleted, like gasoline or fossil fuel, where you have to keep refilling and refilling, right? It's a value that is infinite. It comes from something infinite. Okay, knowing that you have that value from God. So God, He's watching over you at all times. He's caring about you. If we look at Jesus, right, he spent his time with people that were not living exactly how God was asking them to, or even how Jesus himself was asking them to. Right, he spent time with publicans, sinners, um, adulterers, people possessed of devils. He asked us to visit prisoners who had definitely made some bad choices, or else they probably wouldn't have been in prison. That's what he says. Part of true religion is visiting people in prison. So just his own example even showed like, hey, I care about you. I care about people that don't make the best decisions. Okay, I'm still there. And yeah, I'm going to try to direct them back because life's just better here. But because they go that direction doesn't mean I don't care. Again, that vision of the prodigal son leaving, but he's still got people following him. Or my own vision of myself leaving my family, but he's still got people following me. Okay. In Matthew 5:45, he says God makes the sun to shine on the evil and the good, and the rain to come on the evil and the good. He's watching over all of us. And again, so what I used to think is, that fear of rejection and that fear of punishment, that's what kept me motivated, right? That fear of failure, kept me motivated to succeed. But from it from this way, right? It actually gives me more motivation to do a good job. Again, it's like that solar energy. Like I feel solid. I feel good. I don't feel like I'm gonna like fall down and be left alone if I don't do a good job, right? That God's still gonna care. So I actually feel more motivation to be a great husband and father, but less pressure to do it. Where I used to thrive so much off that pressure, maybe not thrive is the wrong word, but perform so much because I felt that fear of failure. Now I'm feeling more, look, I'm gonna be loved and cared for either way. God's gonna watch out for me either way. But this is what I want to do. Like I want to be a great husband and father because I find joy in that. I love my wife and kids so much. And, you know, that's what I want. I want to, you know, care for them and serve them and, you know, be, uh, focus on serving and protecting my family because I like that role. I enjoy it. Um, so it's been um, a great breakthrough for me. And again, like knowing that it allows me to focus on serving and knowing that I'm okay and loved and cared for, even if I don't do it perfectly. That's the beauty of it. All right, man. So hopefully, this message resonates with you. If you have made mistakes, which all of us have, but if you've made big mistakes, just know like God is still with you. He still cares about you. if you're in that spot where you're always trying to earn your wife's attention, appreciation, affection, sex, and you're so angry because you're not really getting anything out of it, just realize like, look, you still have value, right? Even if you do a bad job as a husband, like you still have value. And as you do serve her, you can just get that sense of well-being and knowing like, hey, I did a good thing here. I served her. I can feel good about that. Um, know God's watching out for you, and he cares for you even in those times when you're not doing a good job. All right, men, stay strong. We'll see you next episode.